Welcome back to this week's episode of The Nonprofit Plug. I am Dr. Sharon, CEO of The Nonprofit Plug, with my co-host,
Amber Anthony.
We are Shamber! That's literally our favorite part of the whole episode.
Okay, yeah, okay. Our first time hearing that.
Okay. So, The Nonprofit Plug, the podcast, it's all about everything nonprofit, community, getting people plugged in, resources, understanding tips, tricks, techniques, like everything cool about nonprofits, financial literacy, like every kind of topic in that. We're so blessed tonight, though, because this is the family edition. Thanks, Kenyon.
Yeah.
So we've got a family with us tonight. They are also a client of the Nonprofit Plug. We did their formation last year in the fall, right?
Last year in the fall, yep.
Yeah, it hasn't even been a year, probably just a couple months, over 6 months now.
Yeah, just about.
Okay, cool. So let's dive right in. Tell us about it. I'm not even sure who we should even start with here. This is so exciting. We've got 3 folks. Let's start with the queen.
Yes.
Number 1, Mom.
Of course. So I just stated it's been roughly about 6 months or so. It is Mom2JD6 because, of course, I am mom to JD6.
Okay.
It was very catchy. I love the name when he came up. It was very heart touching.
Did you drop a tear?
I didn't because, I'm just too cool to do that.
That's what I thought. That makes
sense. But inside, there were some things going on. So, I'm just very, very proud of him. And I'm very, very proud that is something that was on his heart for him to open a nonprofit. It is a nonprofit geared towards single mothers for a very, very long time. That was me, of course, until my husband came along. So it's something so... And it's something so near and dear.
We'll get to you, Tyrone.
Thank you.
No, totally got it.
Wait your turn. Something so near and dear to him, and is very near and dear to me as well. But thus far, we've just kind of come up with the concept. I always talk to him about what he wants to do and how he wants to proceed with it. I just want to make sure that his vision is seen in his nonprofit, and that everybody understands that this was his baby, birthed from the beginning, and I'm just behind the scenes making sure that whatever he wants to see happens. So that's kind of my role here.
I love that.
And I'm still trying to figure some things out, but in the midst of it, I believe that with what we've done thus far, which is we've done a couple of events with some that we are still working on planning, but they've all been very successful. And I believe that they're successful because he lets us know what he wants to see. And his visions are big, but it comes from the heart. So I'm just very excited about it. And we're very excited for the future of his nonprofit.
I love it. Jalon, we're going to come back to you.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Tyrone.
Okay.
Grab the mic. Tell us
I'm
about
here.
it.
All right, so what are we talking about? No, just kidding. The nonprofit, Mom2JD6 is such a dope idea, and even just from the name, because if you understood the dynamic, like she said, and being a single mother, all the sacrifices and different things and stuff that she made for Jalon to be in the successful position that he's in, it's just an attribute to mothers in general and the sacrifices that they make for their children to be successful. So in starting the nonprofit and wanting to give back to those mothers that, go unseen, that need that extra assistance, that extra help. Like, we did an event actually in Kansas for single mothers, just giving them a little extra something around the holidays to help with those kids that may need something. And that's just part of giving back to those moms that, go unseen, that, sacrifice everything for their children. So that's why the nonprofit, which I know is important to him, was even important to me and us all together collectively to make sure we drive it forward and push it forward and even get it out there. And we thank you for helping us start it. Nonprofit plug, that's a plug, for literally making it seamless. Like, essentially we told you our idea, our objective, what we were trying to do, and you took us from the idea to the formation, and here we are.
Oh my God,
So,
I love it.
yeah.
Okay. Star of the show. Tell us who you are. Why'd you even how'd you even come up with the idea to start a nonprofit? You're so young, you're focused on
Yeah.
sports, you're in college. Like you're like wanted to start a nonprofit.
Yeah.
I'm like having a hard time putting all that together.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name is Jalon Daniels. I play quarterback at the University of Kansas. Born in Inglewood, California, and blessed to be able to be back here in Los Angeles. But for me, I wanted to be able to, share a little bit about myself, share a little bit about my story. I feel like when you have a helmet on all of the time, nobody really kind of knows who you are underneath the helmet. Honestly, when you're walking around, sometimes they notice you, sometimes they don't, because like you're not a basketball player, you're not somebody who's, able to make a shot, turn around, and the camera's on you. Like you have a helmet on, so it's kind of hard for people to, notice who you are. So for me, I got the chance to be able to start a podcast with my running back Devin Neal. In the mix with 4 and 6, and I feel like the main objective behind being able to start that podcast was to be able to, express and show people who we really are. And this is a part of my story. My story has helped me be able to mold me to who I am, but it didn't define where I need to go in life. So I wanted to be able to, start something within my community, being able to talk to my parents, who, help me with a lot of decisions that I make in life. At the end of the day, she's kind of always the final decision
She's the boss,
maker.
huh?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Like,
She's the boss of the whole family, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So they say.
Yes, this is
So
true.
they
Oh yeah,
say.
absolutely. I mean, I can have an idea. I'll bring it up to dubstep first, because sometimes you gotta wait to get to the final decision. You feel me? You gotta wait to get to the boss level.
Yeah,
But
this is true.
yeah, so wanted to be able to help get within my community. So being in Kansas City, like he said, I was able to have an event, geared towards single mothers, to be able to, help them in certain situations that, I know that my mom did a great job of being able to, do what she could to be able to make it seem as if everything was bright and everything was okay. She never really let me see anything that was, down and bad per se. So for me, I'm thinking life, everything is perfect. It took me until like high school where I kind of realized like, okay, she did a great job of being able to put me in a community where I didn't really know about much was going on. The only thing she kept me focused on was my goals, which was to be able to
Wow.
become a Division I quarterback, being able to, hopefully be able to make it to the NFL, God willing. So,
We had him here first.
but yeah, no, being able to talk to them has helped me a lot to be able to, like she said, be able to tell them what my goals are, and they're allowing me to be able to go through the whole entire process of being able to make everything happen. And this so happened to be one of the things that I wanted to be able to make happen.
I'm always so fascinated about when younger individuals just know in their head like the concept of even starting a nonprofit. I'm so impressed by that. Where did you even learn about nonprofits?
To be honest, I learned a lot from being able to LeBron James. If
Yeah,
I
that's
tell him all
right.
the time, LeBron James to me is the GOAT.
Yeah.
If
He's
you-
the goat to everyone
That's
here.
what I'm saying. Like,
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
whoa,
This
whoa.
is a dictatorship.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like
All
I'm
right,
trying
so-
to tell him, he can think whatever he wants. At the end of the day,
Right.
Bron is 40 dropping 40.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
But
Receipts.
Oh,
No,
okay.
for
All
real.
right, fine. We just go neglect that MJ, kind of
Bro,
laid
this
the
is,
foundation.
this is
All right,
this
fair
is a
enough,
podcast
fair enough. This is about nonprofits. Okay,
Yeah,
go
I'm
ahead and
saying.
talk about LeBron's nonprofit. Go ahead.
Yeah, but being able to see a lot of the stuff that LeBron had going on off the field, I mean not off the field, off the court for him, being able to see the amount of success that he's been able to have outside of just being an athlete, I wanted to be able to, dabble into the things that he was able to do with his career. I've been blessed with the opportunity to be able to sign with the Clutch Sports Group, which is an agency. My agent is Aaron Henderson, and LeBron James is with Clutch Sports. So, Aaron has helped me to be able to dabble in with a little bit of
Wow.
things that he was able to work on, and being able to talk to them about a lot of other things. Nonprofit management was one of the things that I kept near and dear to my heart.
God, and like even said nonprofit management. I'm so blown away like by the three of you, just for the concept, just for wanting to start a nonprofit, for wanting to like integrate athletics and a nonprofit together. I know like I'm going to hand it off to Amber here in a second because her whole focus, she comes from the for-profit industry.
Mhm.
She's all about financial literacy. And I want to talk about that for like a little bit and like that impact in nonprofits and sports and all of that and kind of your experience with some of that too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, something that you just said was about proximity. and getting around the right people with the right information. So that's incredible that you're with an organization that's vetted, and that has receipts, and so that you're getting the necessary guidance. Because there are so many young people, and I know this because I have a few in my family, my immediate family, and I see how they've been handled from high school and now in college. And so all of these opportunities for college players, I mean, what a dream come true.
Yeah,
Life changing, trajectory
Absolutely.
changing.
definitely.
And
Definitely.
especially if you make the right moves, even in college, of course, everybody's goal is to go to the,
The NFL, to the
right?
league, yeah.
Exactly. But even if that doesn't happen, if you take what's happening in these 4 years, I mean, it's explosive
Absolutely.
as long as you guys are doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
which is putting in the work.
Absolutely. And we've been blessed also just to have an abundance of resources of knowledge just around us in our village and our family, even expanding out to you guys. Just that when all of this stuff started, NIL was even being talked about. It was like, okay, hey, we're probably gonna need to start an LLC. We're probably gonna need to do all these different things. Actually, as a little flex in his age, he just purchasing his first home. He's doing all these different things at this age now to sort of, cement the foundation of somebody who's, being responsible and taking advantage of the opportunity, then the blessing that's been given through, like I said, NIL, through college sports, all these different things that, he's worked hard for, obviously, but also that we've been blessed to pass on that advice, that knowledge to say, hey, and he's followed it to a T.
Amazing.
He's right on point with it. He's not someone that he believes in the reasoning, like I said, even behind this nonprofit, you know, it's a personal connection. So, and he wants to see other young athletes or other just young children who have single mothers or just mothers, period, to succeed, So that's sort of the purpose for that,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like, with how the NIL space has developed within the past few years, it's a lot of, when NIL first came out, there was a lot of positives behind it. And now that, we're in kind of in the day and age where you hear a lot of things about NIL over the media, I feel like there's been a lot of negativity that has been a negative light that has been shed on it on a lot of for a lot of different reasons. Because at the end of the day, the media is they're going to push out whatever they can do to be able to gain more views and more clicks and more everything. So, when we're talking about these athletes who are in college who just got NIL money, the media is going to show them all of the chains, all of the cars, everything that they're posting and all of this and that. But, they don't shed light to the positives that these college students are doing with their money, being able to start nonprofit management. I mean, we he's talking about an LLC. I mean, if we're being honest, 10 years ago, a college student, especially an athlete going to the NFL, had no idea what the LLC was.
Right.
No idea
Right.
what a nonprofit was. No idea what, that they were gonna have to pay taxes on money that they're being able to, gain.
Mhm.
I feel like in the NIL space has helped us be able to, especially me, be able to navigate financially how to go about a lot of things. Because yes, you're a lot of money is different from how you were getting money in high school, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to find a way, for me at least, and the way we think about things is find a way to be able to make your money make money for you. And I feel like that's kind of the stage where NIL has helped me a lot, because I'm trying to find ways to be able to make more money with the money that's given, instead of just, oh, I got money, let's spend it. Because at the end of the day, you don't know when that money is going to stop coming. College is
Yeah.
going to stop. College is going to end at some point, and even if you make it, even if you make it past college, your career is going to end at some point. So being able to, make decisions like this at such a young age, at 22 years old, it allows me to be able to, become more wiser when we're getting to that NFL type of money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I have a quick question because obviously you have colleagues that you play with and such who are also getting NIL deals.
Mhm.
And truth be told, you guys are willing to do the work. You're doing tedious work. You're educating yourselves. You're being responsible. You're managing the back end.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's just the truth.
Mhm.
So with some of the other gentlemen that you cross paths with, do you notice that their discipline isn't as high or that they don't have the information? So when you do run across people that aren't operating with excellence the way you are. How do you handle that?
Well, what I'll say is, I'm not gonna sit here and make it seem like I've always had it figured out. I absolutely didn't. I feel like everything that you learn has to be learned through experience. You can be told something your whole entire life, but until you're put into that water, you're not really gonna know how to swim within it. So, what I will say is yes and no, because it's kind of hard for me to be able to look at somebody else at how they're doing things when it's not like I always had it figured out. I had to go through certain situations financially to be able to say, okay, well, I won't do that again, or okay, maybe I should be able to dabble into this more to be able to make a smarter decision down the line. At the end of the day, I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. Whether you don't see the positive in it in the moment, it'll allow you to be able to continue to grow from that situation, because I guarantee when you make a mistake and you don't like that feeling, you won't make that same mistake again.
Definitely.
This is 1000% a testament to the two of you, and especially you, Mom, because I know it was just you guys for a while, but like this is a testament to the two of you, because to have a son that can just speak on that and to acknowledge what you've gone through, what you're trying to build and wanting to help others, like that is definitely a testament from the home.
It is, because the one thing he knows about me is growing up, I always did what I needed to do to make sure that he had what he needed to have. I tell everybody he had 100% of everything he needed, 90% of everything that he wanted. I made him work hard for that. And a lot of times he says that I was a stricter parent for it. But the one thing that I knew was I would always tell him, I have a job, you have a job. If I have to go to my job to make sure that I can provide for you, school is your job. You have to go, you have to get the grades. If you're doing what you're supposed to do and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, then we're not going to have any problems. You don't have anything to worry about. I don't believe in children taking on adult situations. So I never talked to him about finances and what was going on in the house. I just made things happen. And so from the way that I showed him life, I showed him that when you work hard, then you can play hard. We prepare for a lot of the things that we want to do, but I do have conversations with him about finances even when he was younger. He has his money, he wants to go buy video games. You have your money. I'm not going to spend my money. I'm not going to play your video game. You have your money, you save your money, you get it. He became very good with that. So it was just little things with just us. And then of course when my husband came along, he brought that same energy to everything. So he watched us both just decide that we were going to show him what it's like to be those responsible parents who make sure that we get out there, make sure that all the bills are paid. And it's not a dig at anyone who's ever had the lights off or anything like that. Struggles come along. The one thing that I've always told him is I'm going to make sure that that's not your story. We've never had to worry about where you're going to eat or any of those things. And so I don't want him to do that in adulthood himself. He has to know that you have to take care of the priorities first, and then you can go out and play. That's what part of that NIL thing is about, that makes some of these young guys not really know, because they've never had, or a lot of times they struggle. So when they get it, it's such a shock to them. Whereas he had everything, So I understand the space of where things can get a little negative when they do show all of the glitz and glamour of what comes from the NIL. But in the background, before he even had his nonprofit, he was already going out and donating his money.
Yeah, I remember
making
you saying
sure
that,
Christmas comes around or Thanksgiving comes around. These are things that he was doing just because that's what he wanted to do. It had no rhyme or reason. It didn't matter what anybody else was doing. He said, this is what I want to do. And so I believe that as he progresses into the nonprofit space around some of his other friends, I believe that that'll catch on.
Oh, 100%.
You
That'll
know,
totally
whether
rub
he
off on them.
tells them or how to do it, I think they see what he's doing. They see the pride that he has in what he's doing. And a lot of them, they want to talk to him about, okay, how'd you do your LLC? What's going on with your nonprofit? these are the conversations that you start to have, because they all are looking at, well, you're right, this money is going to stop. But NIL came so quickly, it hit everybody so quickly, they didn't know what to do. So he's right. We all have to try to navigate a lot of this stuff. But ultimately, once he came to us with the idea of what he wanted to do, he's like, I'm going to keep doing what I was doing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to have the nonprofit that I have, you know, this, and provide that space, and we move further into what we're doing. But I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep giving. I'm going to keep making sure. I want to make sure that these mothers are able to get these cleats for their kid, or get their kids to this back to this football camp or whatever it is. He doesn't want any child to be hindered because their parent may be struggling. And that told, you know, that definitely tugged at my heart a lot. So that's something that I'm willing to work even harder to make sure that I'm able to help with everybody being able to see what he's doing, because they always think that just because they may see something flashy on him, that he's just not being conscious with his money. And it's fine if people want to talk, but in the
Yeah, because
background,
they're going to anyway.
they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
But in the background, he's it's all about everybody seeing the end result and not what it looks like on the surface. So I'm definitely very proud of him.
Yeah.
I'm very proud that he watched everything that I was doing, and he took that in, and he was like, I'm going to become that type of person too. I want to make sure that I can provide for myself. And he's done that. So
And he's not just, you know, and at least bragging a little bit on him. He's not just someone who always really thinks about himself like that. He has, I mean, you ask him, at least by birth of his mother, he's an only child, right? But he has brothers that he treats as blood brothers, will give the shirt off his back for them. You know, he has his sisters, my daughters, you know what I mean, that he's close and stuff with. He has his cousins that he's tight with. We have a pretty tight village.
yes.
From his godfather and godmother to his uncles to his aunties to, you know, male figures in his life to female figures in his life. He's definitely someone who, like I said, he's given back to schools, he's given back to our church. He's done all that out of the kindness of his heart, knowing that, you know, he's blessed to be a blessing. That's something that we've definitely always tried to teach him, because that's what we emulate and what we try to at least show him, like, hey, we only have this so that we could try to help to bless someone else. And that's kind of how he navigates his process and stuff through life. And that's why we try to, just like you're doing, and you blessed us with the information of opening our nonprofit. We try to do the same thing by just spreading the information of, like, hey, here's a young athlete who has money, who's getting NIL, who has an IUL, an LLC, corporation, a home, all of these different things that most people don't even get even when they're 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
Yep.
all of this stuff now, you know, setting him up, or at least trying to show him so that he could show others, because he's been blessed to bless someone else, you know?
Wow. That's it's intense and it's so cool all at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, do you think, Jalon, is there a place for you in all of this, like with NIL and with sports, where you can kind of create this platform to kind of educate people on like how to operate in this kind of system, in this kind of life?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that because you know, my stepdad and my guy that have gotten the chance to be able to come down to Kansas to be able to, you know, help teach some financial literacy to some of my team. We have something at the University of Kansas football team that we call life skills development. And during the off season,
Wow.
there's once a week, every single week, where there's something that our player development, Ashley Goodman, brings somebody in to be able to help our players learn something about a life skill that they're going to need down the line, whether it be financial literacy, whether it be about, you know, what you're going to be able to have to do for grocery shopping, whether it be
Yeah.
what challenges you're coming through in life, you know, when what life looks like after college. You know, not everybody says that not every college athlete is going to make it to the NFL.
Right.
So I feel like with Coach Leipold and our staff that is there, they do a good job of trying to prepare us as athletes to be able to continue life after football, whether you are playing in the NFL or playing a 10-year career, or if you are done playing after college, what are you going to do to be able to, take that next step? What are you going to do to be able to go through that job application process? They do a lot of stuff that helps us be able to continue developing within that. And I got the chance to be able to have my people come down to be able to help teach my team about LLCs, IULs, and being able to make certain investments to be able to help your money grow.
Wow. Now, is that normal at other universities?
I couldn't tell you.
That's a great question. We would hope so, especially in this new space. I think, like we've been talking about, NIL is so new, and could you imagine giving a kid? Could you imagine yourself at 20 or 21 years old with hundreds of thousands of dollars? Like, what would you do with it? Is the first thing you're thinking about is, let me set myself up for the future. Let me start a business. Let me think about my taxes and all these different things. Nah, you're like, let me go buy a car. Let me go buy some clothes, some shoes, a chain, all of these other different things. Let me go buy all the stuff that do all these things that you want to do at a young age. And then, not thinking about the consequences and stuff
Oops.
afterwards. Right. Exactly. So, I think, and a lot of people don't have, people in their corner to kind of guide them or to give them the information to what they need to do. So, it was more so of, hey, we've shared this with Jay. Jay is set in a certain manner or whatnot. And obviously he's close with his teammates, and we became close with a lot of the teammates and stuff over the years. And we don't want to see them fall. Again, we're blessed with the information and the knowledge. Why not come down and help them do the same thing? Because if no one else is going to show them, they're going to end up suffering. Again, it's totally up to them to do it. And I don't know if it's happening at other schools, which, like I said, I hope someone is trying to help these young men or just young college athletes, period, become educated in financial wellness. Because you can't just throw money at people and not expect them to have some consequences if they don't manage it right.
Oh my God. This is even applicable to like nonprofits. So there was Los Angeles had this huge grant opportunity that was only for new nonprofit organizations. These nonprofits were getting like 1.2 million was the highest grant amount over 3 years.
Wow.
You had to have under a certain amount of operating budget. You needed to be around only like 2 years. So all these nonprofits that are newer in Los Angeles went after this grant, got it. A couple of our clients got the funding. These are nonprofits that have never seen over like $5,000 in their bank account.
Oh no.
One client I can think of, it caused a divorce. It caused program failure. It caused I don't want to go as far as misappropriation,
Yeah.
but just almost like a unknown misappropriation because they didn't know how to spend the money. They didn't understand what restricted grants mean. And when I hear you guys talk about like people who have never like had the funds before, and then they get this money and then they just kind of go and do whatever, they don't know any better. So that's like our mission is financial literacy over everything, because I feel like once you kind of have that knowledge to understand how to operate a dollar and respect a dollar, then programs go into place, community goes into place, collaboration goes into place, health, mind, body, soul, like on so many different levels kind of comes together. But I could think of a couple of nonprofits we know that just $5,000 got $1 million and just like plummeted. And we watched it.
Wow.
And we kind of sat there like, holy, whoa.
Yikes.
Yeah, but to your point, I mean, it's unreasonable to think that you'd be great at something if you've never done it.
Exactly.
And
It's true.
so,
Right. High expectations that were just
Ignorance, right?
Yeah.
A part of it is ignorance. But I mean, like I said, there's different experiences, which, Jalon will tell you that, sometimes you could watch someone else do something and learn from their experiences. Like, hey, like if we know someone that got $1 million and went through it, like, hey, we know we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things where, like I said, we've been able to help to assist him. It's not our money, or whatever that he's getting, but if we can help him manage his money and become successful at what he's doing, then he goes out and helps others. Because I'm sure there's a lot of horrible stories out there with people getting money and definitely heartbreaking stories where people got money and now they have nothing.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
I would say like 9 times out of 10, it's not intentional that it just gets trashed. Of
Yeah.
course, there's people out there, but
Well, it's 100% not, because recently I have a few NIL athletes
Okay.
who, even if information was provided to the athlete
Mm.
themselves,
Mm-hmm.
they maybe didn't have the family construct
Mhm.
to be able to have the conversation about it to execute. So I have a few athletes that are now in year 2 and 3,
Mm-hmm.
and money is definitely rolling in,
Okay.
and tax returns have not been filed. Ordinary and necessary expenses have not been documented. Legal tax avoidance strategies have
Mm-hmm.
not been discussed.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're having conversations about $300,000, $400,000 that have already been deposited into a bank account. That's not even the conversation about whether or not it was spent appropriately or inappropriately.
Appropriately. Yeah.
All we know is $300,000, $400,000 has come in.
Mm-hmm.
These 1099s have been filed.
Yeah.
And now what? And it's very difficult to go back and create a tax strategy for past years,
Yeah.
as you
It
well
is.
know,
Oh,
because
yeah.
the minute a dollar is earned, tax is due.
Yep.
So you guys
Absolutely.
obviously have to stay
yeah.
on top of every single disbursement.
Yeah, absolutely. When we watched the ruling happen for NIL, it was like, oh crap, what's about to happen? And I think that was the first moment. Like, I think me and Les was like, all right, we need to start an LLC. He don't have no money yet, but whenever they start paying him, he needs to have something already set and established, because we all know, in having jobs in our lives or whatnot, in our job history, when you get that paycheck stub, what do you see already taken out?
Mhm.
Taxes. I was like, I don't see them doing that, and sure enough, they're not doing that. So
Yeah.
you have to account for that when you're getting all this money or whatnot. How is, Uncle Sam going to get his cut?
Yeah.
So, we're grateful for different opportunities to, like I said, give back, have a business and stuff in place, and all these different things that you're able to write off and do different things or whatnot, to try to show like, hey, the money is being spent wisely. And, that's why we've at least been able to try to be successful in that aspect.
Oh, and may I share something else that's
Mhm.
kind of unique? So I don't know how it works for you, because so you're a resident of California, or were growing
Mhm.
up. And I don't know what your residency is now. And obviously that's a whole separate conversation.
Yeah.
But I have athletes that have been residents in states that didn't have state income tax. And so
Mhm.
now they're here in California getting their 1099 under the NIL, and they're registering things and getting, so we're already on the same page that, like, you don't want your footprint in California if it doesn't have to be in
It doesn't
California.
have to be in California.
Right.
Absolutely. Which is, like you said, is a whole different conversation, which I know you guys are probably super knowledgeable about,
especially
Yeah.
that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You probably know, hey, go here to this city, this address.
Yeah. And again,
Money is bay.
yeah.
Money is bay.
and again, everything is legal, but there
Yeah.
are checklists.
Yeah.
And every state is different, but we know California's king, or they think they are anyways, right? And so once that
Absolutely.
FTB gets a hold of you, they don't want to let you go.
No, not at all.
And-
not even a fraction.
Yeah, and not even a regular W-2 worker.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's nothing personal
No,
to
it's true.
athletes or anything. It's
Yeah.
just period.
Yeah.
But all these things that you have to navigate through, you have to be conscious of where you're living and where you're registering your cars, and
Yeah. It's
where
so
you're
true.
spending your time when you're not in school.
So the question would be, at least, here being on your podcast, how will we find such information? Putting in a shameless plug, by the way. Um, how will we get such information from you guys if, let's say, we don't know, right? We're obviously, established, or at least moving forward. But if someone doesn't know, how would they find that information
Well, we
out?
definitely have the skill set and the credentials to be able to educate our clients. So
Mhm.
that is something that we do.
Okay.
But on top of it, we're so passionate
Mhm.
about education and really protecting individuals,
Mhm.
for all your hard work, so you can keep it and sustain.
Yeah.
As we do a lot of educational things, lunch and learns, checklists, etc.
Mhm.
So anybody who would ever want to come and give us a topic to speak on, If we're qualified to speak on it, we will. Otherwise, we bring in, guests, our attorneys or our additional CPAs or financial people or what have you that can speak to it. But it's definitely something near and dear to my heart. I do come from the for-profit world. I have served as a fractional CFO to high net worth individuals for over 13 years, and not in the athletic space.
Okay.
So in the or in the nonprofit space, but just regular business owners or high net worth individuals. And so my main thing is obviously tax strategy and risk mitigation. So I've gotten pretty good at what I do over the years.
Okay.
And then on top of it, I myself have built a business. I took over a family business several years ago when I was young and built it into something quite nice.
Dope.
So I've learned the same way you guys are learning,
Perfect.
just self-taught and a lot of mistakes.
Best sense is
And
bought
have
sense.
paid heavily for those mistakes.
Yeah.
It's called ignorance tax.
Yes, the ignorance tax.
And now I'm trying not to be ignorant.
Yeah, that's right.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
We joke, we call it failing our way to millions.
Definitely.
Failing our way to millions.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't fail, that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
facts.
right. That's true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wait till
As
the
long as
millions.
you get to the millions, that's the main thing.
You know.
Yes.
You know.
So do a lot of your teammates come to you and are like, how did you learn this stuff? Can you teach us stuff? Does that ever happen?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and now that when I got into college, NIL wasn't a thing. I was a part of the class of 2020. NIL became a thing in I believe July 2021. And we didn't really know how to go about it neither. So now that we're in 2025, there's freshmen who just got to campus and they're asking these questions like, JD, you got an LLC? Or like, JD, how do I start an LLC?
Yeah.
Or JD, when you were a freshman, how did you go about everything? And in my head, I'm like, when I was a freshman, I didn't.
You're
I
like,
didn't-
no
I didn't have
freaking
what you-
clue.
I didn't
I
have
have my
what you-
scholarship. That's it.
You're like, I don't know. I'm playing football.
Nah, literally. And, to go back and piggyback off what she said earlier, which was, she has a job and I have a job. When we're kids growing up, we're doing school and we're playing football. But that, when you get to college, everything changes. It's not just, you're not just playing football and going to high school. Like, no, like now the school is paying, especially as a scholarship athlete, the school is paying for you to play on the field, which means that your academics are absolutely going to have to come first. You're a student athlete. So you're going to have to go ahead and take care of your academics before you're able to get onto the field and even be able to show yourself as an athlete. So being able to have these conversations with the younger people who are coming into college and finally coming in to make all of this money, they're asking me these questions. So I'm able to point them into the right directions. I'm able to, talk to them about, what their goals are financially. I'm not big in being able to asking, okay, how much is this a year? When are you getting this? When are you getting that? My whole thing is, I feel like if you ask me about something, I'm going to point you in the right direction, but I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like I know 100% of everything.
Yeah.
I had to go look up. He was big when I was growing up on saying, like, I could ask him what's 2 + 2. Well, go search it. Go look for that. Go seek that.
Yeah.
And being
It's
a
true.
part of my fraternity, I feel like being able to seek things is something that we do a lot of. So I'm going to put in, give you where to start. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you go out to seek it yourself, you're going to retain that information more.
100%.
Like, I could tell you everything in the world right now, but if you don't really care about it, it's gonna go through one
What
ear
you
and out
gonna
the
do?
other.
Yeah.
If you go on Google and start looking up your stuff your own self, like, where I'm pointing you in the right direction, you're gonna be like, okay, so this is what he was talking about. I can add this to this and that. It's all about bridge building for me. So I like to be able to, point people in the right direction of where to go.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Do you guys have any ideas of what you want to do next with the nonprofit? What's up with the nonprofit for this year?
Good question. Well, he definitely wants to continue doing his yearlies, the Christmas thing. We're trying to work on something for this summer. Schedule.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask about
Yeah, because
schedule and
somebody's going to be in
bandwidth.
Ibiza.
Schedule.
That's
Yes.
quick.
That's quick.
quick. This is
48
quick.
hours.
Like, I'm
48 hours.
I'm
in
not
Ibiza.
jealous.
Neither am I.
Right.
So I don't
Subway
have an
sandwich.
answer for exactly, but I have a lot of ideas, and so I just need to make sure that my ideas continue to match his vision. I can be a little over the top sometimes, and
That's what moms are good for.
Yeah, and I'm great
That's
because
it.
that's me.
Yeah.
But I know that we're gonna definitely continue to find people to partner with,
Mm-hmm.
and continue to help as much as we possibly can. Maybe in the realm of going back to school and different things like that, but just haven't exactly been able to get him situated enough for us to get anything on the calendar. But it's coming.
Yeah.
It's definitely coming.
Definitely.
I plan to become very busy with all of it, especially the more I learn about the nonprofit world itself.
Mm-hmm.
The more I plan to continue to push what he wants. This is not something that we want to die.
Yeah.
So we want it to
Yeah, it's a
grow
legacy.
and thrive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and to piggyback off what she was saying, I think for me the biggest thing is community outreach.
Mm.
No matter where I'm at, whether I am back home in Los Angeles, being able to do what I can back home, and also be able to give back to those who gave to me while I was growing up. But community outreach is big for me. It's sometimes it's not always about what you know. Sometimes it's about who you know.
Mm-hmm.
So being in Kansas City has allowed me to be able to venture into the Midwest, be able to talk to multiple different people, be able to talk with different companies. Being able to work with Single Moms KC. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if I didn't start a nonprofit management, those are things that I probably wouldn't know is around me. So yeah.
What about you, Tyrone? Any kind of things you want to see for this
You
year?
know, I'm sitting here thinking, of all the different, like she said, ideas and stuff that we can kind of bring to formation. A lot of it will depend on the schedule because as much as we would like to represent Mom to JD6, there is no Mom to JD6 without JD6.
Right.
So, but I think we have maybe a couple of ideas that could happen. Like we want to definitely try to do something within sports,
Mm-hmm.
with single moms and stuff within sports, since especially maybe even around football season, trying to find somebody, like she said, to partner with, maybe to get some team gear or something of that nature. Because the one thing that always sticks out to me is that him growing up, you know when he was in Pop Warner, getting all that stuff is expensive.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, and you got him coming home talking about, yo, like I need this or I need that, and it's like we just got that and got messed up last week during a game or something
Right.
like
Kids
that.
grow.
Yeah,
Right.
They grow
kids
a lot
and they're growing.
throughout
Right.
the season. So
Yeah.
those cleats that you got at the beginning of the season aren't necessarily ones that they can wear at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And we're going through all types of different gear, different bags, different fees. The fees for just sports in general. Growing up, Jalon played year round. There was not a break. If he wasn't playing football, he was playing basketball, or he was playing baseball. There was always something. So, he plays football now, but it's about any sport. It's
Right.
just about the children being active, getting out there, doing what they love, and that's just his passion. So we're definitely hoping that that'll be something that we can do this year outside of what he typically does. Is just to be able to give back toward the young kids in sports.
Yeah.
So we'll see what
And-
we can do.
And the holiday times have been at least key because usually those are during the bye weeks or during like the the time, not necessarily the off season. We're hoping for a long season this year, going into the playoffs or to a bowl game. But
Right.
normally those are the times that we're able to, he has a little bit of time and we can, kind of go back, partner with a grocery store or partner with somebody to kind of give back to, like you just said, to the communities, whether it be out in Lawrence or in Kansas City or even out here in LA. So that's the game plan.
And I'm just graduated with the BS in the School of
I
Education.
was literally just gonna ask. I was so curious what your degree was gonna be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just graduated with a BS in the School of
Congratulations.
Education with a major in sport management and a minor in business.
Oh.
Thank you, by the way.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huge
Go
congrats.
figure.
Yeah, I just got the chance to go through graduation, And going into this next semester, I will be studying to be able to gain a graduate certificate in public and nonprofit management. So,
Oh my God.
Isn't that cool?
Amazing.
Oh,
That was kind
yeah.
of like the mic drop right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Are we done?
huge.
That is awesome. I'm gonna hire you to come consult for the company.
hey, come on, check it out.
There
Yep.
you
Hey,
go.
I'm a jack of all trades.
Man, I like this. I like this.
But
Very
yeah,
cool.
So I'm going to be able to go through that during this upcoming semester, during this football season, and be able to learn more and more about something I want to be able to take more seriously when college is over, because I'll be able to have more time. Well, we don't know that yet, 100% of the time,
Yeah.
but
Do what you can right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now that I'm in school, I'm gonna be able to take the time out to be able to learn more and more about it, especially since now that I've graduated from the School of Education, now I'm able to venture out about some more stuff and be able to add more stuff to my toolbox.
Wow, that's going to be cool. And like universities with having the degrees in nonprofit management and leadership is more of a newer thing. That wasn't really so much around when I was in school. So that's really cool that your university even offers that. Wow.
University of Kansas, shout them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Kansas. I
Yeah,
love
right.
that.
No,
There you
because
go.
it's so needed, because especially in the nonprofit world, we're oftentimes shocked at, dare I say, because the mindset is a little off, in that a lot of people don't look at it as a entity with a tax exempt status, but it's
Mhm.
still a business.
Yeah.
And so with that said, there's kind of a lack of talent in the pool, i.e. that are driven with the mindset for operations, making sure you're hitting your margins, making sure you're hitting your impact,
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to report it.
Yeah.
So once you dial in those skill sets,
Oh yeah.
whew,
Oh yeah, I'm diving into that pool right
Bro's
Yeah.
about to be unstoppable.
yeah, really and truly.
That's
Yeah. Ooh.
Mhm.
Okay, I have to ask, who's the most competitive out of the three of you?
now. Me, for sure.
it. Me. Okay.
Stop
I
saying
was
that.
waiting for that. I kind of had a feeling that was
You know,
this was going to happen.
Have you ever heard of the word irrational confidence?
I knew that word was coming, by
like,
the
when you really
way,
think about it, like
considering,
when you
but
think about somebody being
I just-
irrationally confident.
listen. He may have the competitive edge because he actually played sports.
Yeah, but when you
at the
think about
moment.
irrational confidence,
I mean, I played sports.
no,
so
but like when you think about irrational confidence, I think you come up irrationally confident.
we'll save this for another episode.
No, but I'm just saying.
No,
for
keep
now-
going. This is great.
No, I mean, yeah.
Like, when
listen,
you
we can go
really
on and
think,
on.
Like,
But
take the time out to like just look and think about irrationally confident. I think it's you. No, because
Here's-
like look though.
okay, go ahead. Give me an example.
You're such a competitor, right? But
This
you
is
lose
true.
at everything. like
It's not
no,
about.
but like,
hold
no,
on,
but
hold on.
like, yeah.
Let me take
Okay.
this. Let me just take this piece, right? It's not about winning or losing.
It's about losing
competing.
more.
No, it's about competing.
Well, for you, it's about losing
But
more and
I
more.
mean, but that doesn't mean just because I might, what did Fantasia say? Sometimes you got to lose to win again.
Yeah, well, when do you win again?
Sometimes
When is sometime?
there's documentation. We'll look it up.
Is this all the time?
It is.
Oh my God, this is
Well,
funny.
I mean, it is, but I don't know why. Because no, you know what I mean?
Quite frankly, we'll just have to wait till next episode to see.
Oh my God, that is so
Unpack
funny.
this.
Okay, I have one more question because I just
Okay.
love this dynamic.
Yeah.
So when he's playing in a game, who's screaming the most at the TV or at the game? Who screams the most?
Oh,
It's definitely not me.
yeah.
I don't really watch the game.
Too nerve wracking.
Too nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I go to, I think this past season was probably the roughest season for me. But I typically go to or try to make most of his games. His dad goes to all of them. His godfather goes to all of them for the most part. This last season though, I can't watch it. If somebody in the house is watching it, I have to turn my TV up because they're being there cheering or screaming at the TV or, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And I'm just a ball of nerves. So I'm usually not paying attention. I wait for the end to find out how things went. So it's definitely not me screaming at the television. Now when I'm there, yeah, some stuff going on. I'm cheering.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
So you weren't the Pop Warner mom that was getting kicked off the field.
now it's a little different. I wasn't. But it was different for me in Pop Warner. For some reason, I could watch. I
Yeah.
could watch everything that was
Maybe
that
it
was
wasn't
going
as
on.
risky as
Oh
like
no, it was
a full-on
risky.
game.
It was
Yeah.
risky because he took risks.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, "What, dude? Why are you running?" After
Sometimes
that,
life is all about taking risks.
yeah, So, but
This guy.
I definitely Pop Warner. I was able to watch everything. High school. Sometimes I have to walk away a little bit, but I could still pretty much sit at most of his games. College was a little different for me, and the more he's played, the less I've realized that I can really watch everything that's going on. Not that I don't want to, it's just my nerves are really bad. I think the way that it's been described is I have fourth quarter energy.
Oh,
In the first
okay.
quarter.
Okay.
Myself,
All right.
his
Absolutely.
godmother.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
And so we don't know how to tone that down.
Yeah.
So we just
Fourth
kind
quarter
of.
energy.
I like that fourth quarter energy though.
It's true.
That's
What-
that's what we're told.
What I've learned is, at least from this past season, because she hasn't been at all the games, but I might be sending her a message or something, and I'm at the games and I'm kind of watching the flow. Me and Les were watching the flow, whatever the game, and we're like, all right, yeah, like, no, we got this. We got this in the bag. All right, babe, we finally got this win, and then next thing you know, yeah, just everything changes. So,
Right.
and we're yelling at everybody, yelling at everything, but it's just a game of sports.
Right.
We definitely love it. He loves it. We love to see him compete. He's so passionate about the game, and the importance of he's been playing as a
Entire
D1.
life.
Well, yeah, but even as a D1 college athlete, he started playing at 17.
Wow.
So his birthday is in October, so he was 17 when he was starting his first college game. So it's like, it was a lot, not only to be there for him, and he could probably speak more to this, that after a tough game, when these players come out and you're in a foreign place already, where you're not from there, you're in the state of Kansas or wherever, Texas, wherever you are at the game, you come out, you're looking for somebody familiar to see, to talk to say, hey, like, you did your best, or hey, you did a great job, to celebrate with. But that's sort of the importance of at least us trying to be there as many games as we can. Somebody,
Somebody
being
there.
So
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What's one, I call it the plug of the day, but it's basically like a gem. What's like a gem you can drop on us for nonprofit, athletics, the integration of the two, anything that you want to share, like, oh my God, I wish I had done this different, or I really loved this.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's something that I wish I did different. I would say that it's something that, if you're thinking about it, get into it. If you have your mindset to do something, I feel like you should take that leap. Like, earlier, I was just playing around when I said it, but sometimes life is about taking that risk. Sometimes it's about putting your ideas together and jumping into the deep pool. Sometimes you have to. I mean, that's how I learned how to swim. I had to. No, literally, I got pushed into the pool, and I had to learn.
He pushed you in?
Nah,
Okay.
It was my godfather who put me in.
somebody else.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the one gem that I would give. If you have something, an idea or something that you haven't necessarily fully put together, and you have some free time, take the time out to plan it out, and then consult with other people that you like really believe in their opinion, and consult with them about it and see how they feel about it, and see how they interact with you about it, how their reaction is, and if they feel as if it's something that it's strong enough to be able to be like, okay, you should do it. Take that leap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. How can people find out about you guys and your nonprofit?
I'm on the JD6.
Well, absolutely.
I'm the JD6.
We're currently
Yeah.
we're currently constructing a site. Go be Mom2JD6
Okay.
.com. And
Get that
but you can
.org.
also, but absolutely, excuse me, my apologies, I meant .org.
It is
My
.org.
apologies. It is .org.
.org.
But we also have our Give Butter, which will
perfect.
definitely drop here in the episode.
Yeah.
You know,
Click below.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, we'll put it in there.
Get down there, man.
But yes, so that's how you can find out more about our objective, our mission, and all of that good stuff, and everything you just heard here on this episode.
Absolutely, man. Go ahead and check it out.
And I'm sure you've got Instagram.
Absolutely. You can find me on every single platform at Jalon Daniels 6, JalonDaniels 6, across TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Yeah.
Is that all of them?
It's called X.
Oh yeah,
Well,
X.
my
That's
fault.
right.
X.
It's okay.
Yeah.
For all you old schools.
I know.
Twitter,
I
right?
forget that it's called that too.
I don't be on Facebook, so I don't got that.
Okay.
What's that
Oh,
mean?
so almost every platform.
Almost,
Okay.
but almost don't count. So almost. Almost.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, another amazing episode. This is the family edition of the Nonprofit Plug. I love it.
Yes.
Where can they find us?
You can find us on all the platforms.
All the platforms.
Including
At the
Facebook.
Nonprofit Plug.
Including Facebook.
Including Facebook.
Yes,
Make sure to go
including
check 'em out.
Facebook.
All social
At-
media platforms.
All social media platforms at the Nonprofit Plug.
Yes.
At the Nonprofit Plug, man. Make sure y'all go check it out.
Shout out to Chamber.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for having us on.
Thank you
Yes,
guys.
yes, this is
Spam
awesome.
applause in the chat.
Yes,
please.
for real.
No,
Definitely. absolutely.
thank you.
This
I
is
can't
dope.
thank you guys enough for coming. This is
Thank you for
definitely
having
so
us.
cool.
We
Absolutely.
appreciate
Thanks
you,
for
for
having
sure,
us.
for
We
sure.
absolutely appreciate it.
Slide in our DM.
Slide in the DM.
Oh.
Take it.